I mean, obviously, I want to emulate you.
Oh, yeah,
Give me a
sure.
chance.
I thought you were a good anchor.
You did?
I did.
How about, though, the way I delivered the lines, though? A little dicey, because, you know, I lead with my personality, Diane's personality, and I feel like it's okay for me to have the run on, you know?
Hollywood is heartbroken tonight. One of its most radiant stars has dimmed forever. Diane Keaton, the woman who gave life to characters that made us laugh, cry, and question everything we thought we knew about love and self-worth, has passed away at 79. Her loss feels like the curtain closing on a golden age, one filled with soul, sass, and raw authenticity that can't be copied or replaced. For over 5 decades, Diane wasn't just acting. She was living boldly on screen, breaking every Hollywood rule in the book. She made imperfection magnetic and independence beautiful. With her fearless spirit and one-of-a-kind charm, she reminded us that true artistry means showing the world exactly who you are, flaws, quirks, and all. In the final stretch of her life, something began to shift within Diane Keaton.
I didn't know how, and I was also afraid of men.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I was afraid of men, yes.
Something quiet, almost unspoken, yet deeply felt by everyone who loved her. Friends who'd known her for decades noticed a subtle change. Her laughter was still there, her wit still razor-sharp, but there was a calm weariness behind her smile, a softness in her eyes that whispered she was getting tired. Still, she carried herself with that same effortless grace, brushing off concern with her signature charm. When people asked how she was doing, she'd wave it off with a laugh, saying she was just a little run down. She never wanted pity or worry. That wasn't Diane. But behind closed doors, her health was slipping faster than anyone could have imagined. She knew it, yet she faced it the only way she knew how, with quiet courage and dignity. By summer, Diane began stepping away from the spotlight that had adored her for decades. She spent her days in her beloved Los Angeles home.
Oh, no. Is this the best they could offer? Oh, geez, I'd hope for something with at least decent features.
The same cozy haven filled with vintage treasures, family photos, and echoes of old Hollywood laughter. Neighbors said they saw her less often, but when they did, she'd still flash that iconic smile and greet them warmly, even when she clearly didn't feel her best. As her condition worsened, Diane drew her circle tighter. Only a few close friends and family knew the full truth, and they respected her wish for privacy. She didn't want to be remembered as frail or fading. She wanted to go out the way she lived, authentic, strong, and a little mysterious. In those final weeks, she found comfort in life's simplest pleasures. She'd sip her morning coffee.
Oh, God, what a dumb thing to say, right? I mean, you say it, you play well, and then right away, I have to say you play well.
As sunlight streamed through her windows, hum along to her favorite old records, and reminisce about the moments that made her who she was. She talked about her films, her kids, her wild adventures, and yes, she still cracked jokes. One longtime friend recalled, Diane was making us laugh even when she could barely speak. That was her magic, turning even the hardest moments into something beautiful. Then, one quiet morning, everything changed. Paramedics were called after she became unresponsive. Despite every effort, Diane Keaton passed away peacefully in her home at 79, surrounded by love and calm. Her family described it as a gentle farewell. No pain, no chaos, just peace, the way she would have wanted it. Her passing left behind a silence that feels too big to fill. To her friends, she was more than a Hollywood legend. She was warmth, humor, and wisdom rolled into one unforgettable woman. Her laughter still echoes through the films that made her a star, and her courage still inspires those who dare to live authentically. Diane Keaton may be gone, but her legacy refuses to fade. Her spirit, her humor, her fearless individuality, they live on in every smile she sparked, every heart she touched, and every story she helped the world tell. Diane Keaton entered the world as Diane Hall on January 5, 1946 in sunny Los Angeles, California, a city that would one day become her playground and her stage. She grew up in a lively, creative household that encouraged big dreams and bold ideas. Her mother, Dorothy, wasn't just a homemaker. She was crowned Mrs. Los Angeles, radiating confidence and glamour that clearly rubbed off on her daughter. Her father, Jack Hall, worked as a real estate broker, but at home, the family's true wealth came from imagination.
I never said la-di-da in my life until he wrote it. But I was a person who couldn't complete a sentence, so.
Little Diane was hooked on stories, devouring movies, acting in school plays, and dreaming of someday stepping into that magical world that lit up the silver screen. After graduating high school, she chased those dreams with unstoppable determination. She started at Santa Ana College before heading across the country to New York City to study at the iconic neighborhood playhouse School of the Theater. There, under the legendary acting coach Sanford Meisner, Diane sharpened her craft and developed her signature emotional realism, that breathtaking authenticity that made her performances feel so raw and alive. But those early years weren't easy. Diane hustled like crazy, waiting tables, crashing auditions, and facing rejection after rejection. Still, she refused to give up. She had that undeniable spark, a mix of awkward grace, sharp wit, and magnetic energy that made people stop and look twice. Even in the smallest roles, Diane had a presence that screamed, "I'm meant to be here!" Her big break came when she joined the cast of the Broadway hit Hair in the late 1960s, a bold, rebellious show that perfectly matched her free spirit. It was during that time that she caught the attention of a rising comic and writer named Woody Allen. He was instantly captivated by her humor, her timing, and that effortlessly offbeat charm. He cast her in his stage play, Play It Again, Sam, and when it was later adapted into a film in 1972, their chemistry was pure lightning. Diane's quirky warmth and natural magnetism lit up the screen, and Hollywood couldn't look away. That same year, fate handed her the role that would change everything, Kay Adams in The Godfather. Francis Ford Coppola saw something special in Diane, a softness that could balance Michael Corleone's ruthless world. As the quiet heart of the Corleone family, Diane brought depth, heartbreak, and humanity to one of the most iconic films ever made. Her performance made her a global sensation, and when she reprised the role in The Godfather Part 2 and Part 3, she cemented her legacy as one of cinema's most unforgettable women. But everything changed in 1977, when Annie Hall hit the big screen and turned Diane Keaton from a respected actress into an untouchable Hollywood legend. Playing a quirky, free-spirited singer opposite Woody Allen, Diane didn't just play Annie Hall, she was Annie Hall. Every word, every nervous laugh, every glance felt real and alive. She embodied the modern woman of the 1970s, smart, messy, emotional, and unapologetically herself. Audiences didn't just watch her, they fell for her. The film swept the Oscars, snagging 4 major wins, including Best Picture and Best Actress for Diane. But the real victory was cultural. Annie Hall made Diane the symbol of a new kind of femininity, sharp yet vulnerable, stylish yet unpredictable. Her signature look, the loose trousers, oversized vests, and men's ties, became a full-blown fashion revolution. Women around the world started dressing like her, not to imitate Hollywood, but to feel as bold and authentic as Diane herself. Yet even at the height of fame, she refused to be boxed in. Diane wasn't chasing glamour, she was chasing truth. She dove into darker, riskier roles that showed just how fearless she really was. In Looking for Mr. Goodbar, she portrayed a woman walking the razor's edge between freedom and danger. In Reds, opposite Warren Beatty, she delivered another powerhouse performance that earned her yet another Oscar nomination. And in Marvin's Room, she shared the screen with Meryl Streep, exploring family, illness, and love with haunting honesty. Off-screen, Diane was just as driven. She was a photographer, director, and author, a true artist in every sense. She directed films like Heaven and Hanging Up and wrote deeply personal memoirs that peeled back the curtain on fame, love, and aging. Diane never pretended to have it all figured out. She openly admitted her insecurities, but she wore them with pride, turning vulnerability into strength. "I'm still learning to love myself," she once said, "and that's the hardest role I've ever played." Those words summed up everything that made Diane Keaton so magnetic. Her honesty, her humor, her humanity. She never hid behind the glamour of Hollywood. She was real, vulnerable, funny, unpredictable, a woman who felt life deeply and made the world feel it with her. In her later years, Diane became the definition of aging with grace and attitude. She refused to fade quietly or play by Hollywood's unspoken rules about age. In Something's Gotta Give, starring opposite Jack Nicholson, she reminded everyone that love and passion don't expire with youth. Her performance, bursting with warmth, wit, and raw emotion, earned her yet another Academy Award nomination and became one of her most loved roles. Watching her in that film felt like seeing the full circle of a woman who had lived, loved, and laughed her way through everything life threw at her. Off-screen, Diane's life was just as fearless. She never walked the traditional path, never married, never bowed to expectations. Instead, she carved out her own version of happiness, adopting 2 children, Dexter and Duke, later in life. She often said motherhood gave her a kind of love that fame could never compete with. Real, grounding, messy love that changed everything. Those closest to her describe her as endlessly curious and full of creative fire. Al Pacino once called her the most alive person in any room, while Warren Beatty said she was a mystery you could never stop wanting to solve. Her passing has left Hollywood shaken. Tributes are pouring in from actors, filmmakers, and fans across generations. Younger stars are thanking her for breaking the mold, for proving that authenticity beats perfection every time. Directors are recalling her sharp professionalism mixed with that signature Diane wit that kept everyone laughing on set. And fans everywhere are re-watching her films, crying, smiling, and remembering why they fell in love with her in the first place. Diane Keaton was timeless, not because she chased trends, but because she ignored them. She embraced her quirks, her awkward charm, her fierce individuality. And in doing so, she made everyone else feel a little braver about being themselves. Even in her last interviews, she was thoughtful yet lighthearted, talking about aging, self-acceptance, and the beauty in everyday simplicity. "I've had a beautiful life," she said once. "Not perfect, but beautiful because I kept learning how to be myself." That's the legacy she leaves behind, not just a filmography, but a philosophy. To be yourself unapologetically, to laugh loud, love big, and never stop growing. Tonight, as Hollywood dims its lights, Diane's radiant spirit still shines bright, forever captured in every laugh, every tear, every unforgettable moment she left behind on screen. Rest in peace, Diane Keaton, a woman who turned life into art and left an unforgettable mark on the world. Today, we lost a true legend, but her light will never fade. Her courage, her laughter, and her heart will live on forever in the memories and hearts of people everywhere.